Hey everybody, hope this finds you doing well. Today we're going to go over a couple of the news stories over the past week that has definitely been a bit of an influence on the cryptocurrency market. So let's go ahead and start off with the cryptocurrency market update. Let's go ahead and go through the top 10 as usual. As you can see, Bitcoin has gone up over 10% over the last 7 days. It actually touched over 30,000 a couple of times this week. Ethereum is up nearly 5% at 4.59%, trading at $1,626. And you can see pretty much everything in the top 10 has gone up. XRP went up over 6% given the news that came out in their case versus the SEC. Solana is the largest gainer over the past 7 days at over 30%, currently trading at $28.42. And then you see Dogecoin and Tron are rounding out the top 10. So if we look at the Bitcoin charts a little bit closer, over the last 5 days, you see here that Bitcoin was trading earlier at about that $28,000 range. And then all of a sudden it saw a jump up, partially because we had a false news story about a Bitcoin ETF being approved earlier this week. We'll get into that in a moment. But as you can see, then Bitcoin started to trade in this $28,000 range, and then it had a leap up over the last couple of days, hitting upwards of 30,000 a couple of times. And now it's kind of peeled back just a little bit at $29,848. But we'll see if it can try to hold that $29,000 to $30,000 range. If we look at the year chart, 30,000 has basically been a level of resistance that we've seen. It's tipped over that a couple of times, but for the most part, that 30,000 range is where we're looking at to see if Bitcoin can stay above it. And if it does, then that could be an indicator that Bitcoin will take another level up. But we have to see that it's able to get over 30,000 and stay over 30,000, in essence, breaking that resistance point, which is $30,000. So just a little bit of technical analysis here. So if we're able to see it stay over $30,000, then that could be an indicator that Bitcoin could continue to go up. Otherwise, there's definitely a possibility that Bitcoin could come back down, as we've seen it's done here a few times over the past year. So definitely something we will keep an eye on and keep you posted on as we move forward going into the end of the year. So as I mentioned, there was a story about a Bitcoin ETF being approved earlier this week, last Monday on October 16th, and it ended up being false. Cointelegraph, which is a well-known crypto news publication, it has been well known to deliver different types of news related to cryptocurrency, and they reported on their X profile that there was an ETF that was approved by the SEC. Now, as we've known and we've talked about it in many videos prior, that the Bitcoin ETF is something that many people are looking forward to, because if it does get approved, the likelihood that larger institutions like the BlackRocks, like the Fidelities, Invescos, major hedge funds, ARK Invest, all of those different types of investment funds who are managing millions, billions, and trillions of dollars will now allocate a small percentage into Bitcoin and these Bitcoin ETFs. And if that's the case, that means that there's more demand. And if there's more demand with the limited supply of Bitcoin, then we could see a large leap up in Bitcoin price. So you can go here and check out their explanation as to why they posted what they did. But obviously, they didn't do the due diligence that they needed to make sure that they were properly informing their viewership with regards to this Bitcoin ETF. And the market also on that news responded. So it obviously shows that the market needs to do a better job as well in terms of doing their due diligence before they move on such news. And unfortunately, a lot of people who tend to bet, which is called Bitcoin futures, on whether Bitcoin is going to go up or down, there were a lot of people who ended up getting liquidated when that Bitcoin jump happened off of this news. So the other big news story over the past week is that the SEC decided to drop their claim against Ripple executives, including Brad Garlinghouse, who is the current CEO of Ripple Labs, and they are the team behind the XRP cryptocurrency. And so we've seen that XRP saw a jump off of this news, but since the SEC lost a portion of their case, now we have to remember that there were many issues that were involved in this SEC case when the SEC decided to sue Ripple Labs for listing a security, what they believed to be security. The judge found that the coins that were sold to retail investors were not considered a security, but the Ripple Labs did lose when it came to the sales to hedge funds, As you can see here, she also ruled partly in the SEC's favor, saying the agency had shown the company's 728.9 million of XRP sales to hedge funds had and other sophisticated buyers had violated the law. So there's still um, remedies that that the SEC can pursue in this particular case. So it's not officially over yet, but the main part of the case relating to the sales to retail customers, they found that the XRP token is not considered a security. So we still are in need of more clarity with regards to what cryptocurrency is going to be classified as. But for the time being, the SEC has decided to go ahead and drop their case that was going specifically against the Ripple Labs executives, Garlinghouse and Larson, who was also another founder of Ripple Labs. So we will see what happens when it comes to the rest of this case. But people need to understand that this is just a portion of the case. So it doesn't mean that all is well and good when it comes to the XRP token, because we still need to get some more information, especially when it comes to sales to hedge funds and other sophisticated institutional investors before it is available to the retail customer. So we're going to finish up with just a couple NFT news stories. Magic Eden, which is a NFT marketplace, mostly known for their NFTs in the Solana on the Solana blockchain. They have also now added Ethereum NFTs to their exchange as well. But they recently partnered up with a group called Collector Crypt, and Collector Crypt is now a bridge of trying to create digital tokens representing physical assets. So the first drop that they had was a tokenization of physical Pokemon cards. And as many people know, especially collectors out there, Pokemon cards are grail when it comes to collector's items. They are valued at very high amounts. And so people really do have a love for these Pokemon cards, and there's a huge demand for these Pokemon cards. And so immediately when it was minted earlier this week, it was immediately sold out. Basically, from my understanding, within the first second, it was already sold out. Unfortunately, a lot of it was probably due to bots, but they had 100 cards that were available to mint. And so you can see here, these are some of the Pokemon cards that were available. They didn't have a reveal, so when you bought the pack, or minted, I should say, the pack on Magic Eden, you didn't get a chance to see which card you received, but then on October 20th, they were revealed so you could see which card you actually received. So that's pretty cool. So this is definitely just the first step in what's going to be happening. We've talked a little bit about phygital products, which are basically physical items that can be turned into digital assets and vice versa. So this is going to continue to happen with all types of assets. And as you can see here, Pokemon cards, which is a very popular collectible, is a new item that is now going to be on the blockchain. And next up, the last thing we'll talk about is Macy's, which is one of the largest fashion retailers in the world. They introduced M Style Lab, and that is them taking their first steps into the metaverse. So basically what it is a metaverse where you'll be able to create your own avatar if you go to their website, and it will showcase digital fashions, which will also be available as physical items as well. So you can have the physical coat or jacket or top or pants, and you also will be able to have that in the M Lab studio, M Style Lab. And the M Style Lab is basically a game that you'll be able to play, and it takes you through various scenes, whether it be New York. They're also going to have one of the Thanksgiving Day parade, which Macy's is very well known for. I believe they're going into their 97th Thanksgiving parade right there downtown in the middle of New York City. And the first collection that they're going to showcase in that metaverse at M Style Lab is called On 34th, and that is their own fashion brand brought to you by Macy's. So as you can see here, they are excited to partner with a world-renowned brand like Macy's to showcase the future of fashion retail. This is a unique metaverse activation that will bring this type of immersive experience to a broader audience. And this is from the head of Americas at Journey. And we are definitely going to check out what Macy's and the InStyle Lab team are going to be up to as we move forward, because fashion is definitely ripe for disruption when it comes to blockchain, especially when it comes to authenticity, as we've talked about before in the past, when it comes to the different type of NFTs that are going to be available to us in the future. Most of the time, we won't even be calling them NFTs basically. But for now, as you can see here, this is a portrait of the digital image that would be showcased in the InStyle Lab platform. So just something to play around with, just something that Macy's is trying to jump ahead on first. So thanks once again for checking us out. We really do appreciate you watching us here on YouTube, as well as checking us out here on X, as well as Instagram. We definitely post there nearly every day. So in the meantime, take care. We look forward to linking up with you soon on the network chain. Bye-bye.